Hey guys. Okay, so right from the jump, we see that Big Mom basically is back up and ready to fight, and goes completely berserk on Kid-in-Law. Which I just gotta be honest, this is one of those chapters where I actively shouted, "Where the hell has this Big Mom been?" Because to me, like, don't get me wrong, the Big Mom has always been a threat in some form or another. But to me, this is the first chapter in a while I felt a genuine sense of terror and fear from pretty much the character since, I guess, actually not even Whole Cake Island, ever since Fishman Island and the end of Fishman Island and Whole Cake Island, because like, it goes without saying that Oda has kind of treated the character like a second fiddle to Kaido ever since she and the Big Mom pirates entered Wano. And in doing so, despite giving Big Mom her moments, she hasn't exactly felt Big Mom in Wano hasn't exactly felt like the same character we were introduced to in Fishman Island and basically got to experience in Whole Cake Island. And this chapter to me shows what has been missing. That sense of malice and fear that shows why Big Mom is a pirate that should be as feared as Kaido, if not more so. And just the simple act of seeing her rip the souls from Kaido's men to strengthen herself is a very simple action that conveys so much about just how powerful she is, and a nice reminder that there is a reason why Big Mom is one of the four emperors, but also, even if she isn't as powerful as Kaido, her strength is something that still should be feared. And I feel that's something that has been kind of missing from Wano with Big Mom, is we just haven't been given enough of a reason to fear her. And this chapter showed more over and again why we should fear her. On that note, though, Law does say something interesting during this encounter, which is, "I can't believe I have to beat this monster to learn about the history," referring to Big Mom. And that could just be him speaking in broad terms and the idea that they need to defeat Kaido and Big Mom in order to move forward from here. But if I were to get conspiratorial about it, the fact that he did mention that he couldn't learn the history of the world until he defeated her means it's tying back to something that he learned during his private meeting with Robin, I'm thinking. But what that is, I'm not going to go any further on that. I'm going to let Oda do his magic on that one, like, if it means anything at all. With all that being said, let's talk about the Sanji portion of this chapter, because it's kind of kept rather vague, but while still obviously alluding to the idea that the raid suit Sanji had been using up to this point has not only been enhancing his physical abilities, but also his emotions and inhibitions, causing him to, in fact, go against the very credo that he was taught and believed in, which is not to kick a woman. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure how to feel about this one, because while I do get the general idea of Sanji needing to, like, in order to have motivation and to come to terms with the idea of who he was becoming versus who he is and who he wants to be, it does feel a little forced. Like, I basically get, I get how kicking a woman, that would be his motivating factor for wanting to just completely abandon anything to do with Germa. At that point, even something even by simple as something as destroying the raid suit he was given. But I feel Oda could have still gotten that across with what he was doing right now without him, like, kicking a woman, because narratively, if you look at what Oda's been doing narratively, he was like, Sanji was already on the right Oda was kind of already on the right track with showing how Sanji's body was physically changing and morphing to basically that of his family and his fear of becoming like them. So oddly enough, just throwing in that scene of him supposedly kicking that woman, it might have served to reinforce the point, but it also just felt excessive and not really needed. Now, granted, where I do think it works tremendously as well is how it does act a mean of showing Sanji's resolve to truly remain himself for the sake of Luffy and the others, and and it reinforces the idea of his active refusal to harm the people he cares about, to the point where when he asked Zoro to kill him, if it came to that point where he would truly lose himself, it does show that forever, however much of a dysfunctional relationship he has with Zoro, it does show there is true, genuine respect between them. And if one of them does make such a request, and one of them that pretty much does end up going down the dark path that Sanji fears he's going to go down, they can both rely on the other in order to honor the pretty much request, in order to kill them, or in order to kill them. And because both of them at this point are incredibly die-hard loyal to Luffy and his cause, and they refuse to just do anything in order to even though they have their own goals that they want to achieve, they refuse to just do anything that will hinder or plague Luffy's path to plague Luffy's goals. Like, they at this point are like, Sanji at this point is the ship's cook, and he refuses to do anything that would pretty much bring harm to Luffy or the crew. And I love that. I love that point. Now, similarly, I also hope Oda isn't entirely throwing away the idea of Sanji possibly having to live with these like more physical abilities he's developed, because similar with what I said yesterday about Sanji versus King, I do feel if Oda does go down that path of just getting rid of anything having to do with Germa with Sanji, I feel it might potentially be throwing away a little bit of narrative potential by not having Sanji retain those physical attributes, but still keeping his emotions intact. Although, based on the last page of him like decimating Queen with Hell Memories, there's also a good possibility that is in fact the case, and that some form of the physical attributes he has gained from the raid suit are still with him, hopefully. Which, yeah, honestly, if this chapter is the end of Sanji versus Queen, I do feel fairly confident in my prediction now that the final few chapters we have before the year ends will mark the end of Zoro's battle. Then the New Year's, where we get into the final battle with Kaido and the climactic moments of Wano. And yeah, I know I've hounded on this one thing a lot, but can anyone, please, for the love of God, kill Apu already. Like, it's kind of amazing how Oda made a character with a pretty cool character design and introduction. Like, honest to God, when Apu was first introduced way back in the pre-time skip, I kind of liked the guy. I'm not gonna lie, but now within just a simple snap of Oda's creative fingers and what he's done with Apu and Wano, I'm like, this motherfucker is so goddamn annoying and unlikable that it's actually kind of amazing. It's actually kind of amazing just how much Oda has made this guy unlikable. Like, at this point, Apu's whole shtick of trying to manipulate people and get them on his side, turn them against each other, is enough already to show just how pathetic he really has become. Whatever. Like, I don't know if this is how he always was, or if this is something he developed after like his encounter with Kaido, but it's like, the dude is just a pathetic worm at this point, and it's honestly making me question now. It's something making me question not only how he survived in the New World this long, but how he even made it past the first half of the Grand Line. Like, I'm sorry, it even just seeing him being this wormy little asshole, it just boggles the mind right now as to how he even made it past the first half of the Grand Line. Like, manipulation like that can only get you so far, and it shouldn't have worked. If those are the tricks he used to get past the first half of the Grand Line, how did they work? Like, seriously. But yeah, it's like, it shouldn't have worked. He shouldn't have made it past the first half of the Grand Line, honestly, even if those are what he did. Now, Also, we get a little bit of a moment with Robin and Brooke, and yeah, I feel that's kind of, again, setting up the moment for her to be captured again. The way she's talking about CP0, it feels like almost a guarantee at this point that she'll be captured by CP0. But again, I don't think CP0 are going to be her permanent captors either, because we've got so many other people waiting in the wings who need Robin's ability to read the poneglyphs more. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to hit the notification bell, hit the subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.